Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how I got started selling commissioned artwork. It's kind of one of those scary, daunting subjects when you're first starting out selling your artwork in general. And so I wish that I would have had somebody to help walk me through how to get commissions, and I was actually really surprised at how few articles, forums, YouTube videos were actually talking about strategy and talking about what has helped them as artists sell commissioned work. So I just thought that this would be a good video to go over. In this video, I'm going to tell you my story as to how I started selling commissioned artwork. It's not going to be the same for everybody, but I'm hoping that this story will help give you some ideas as to what you can do. Some of it's luck, and some of it is just circumstance, but I do think that there are lessons to learn from each situation. So here is the story of how I sold my first commissioned piece of artwork and how it led me into selling a ton more commissioned artwork. Once upon a time, I was an artist who sold like no artwork. You know, we all start out. It's the beginning phases, and the marketing of it, I think, is the most daunting part. I set up a website, I set up an Instagram page for my art business, I set up a Facebook page for my art business, and I started sharing my artwork all over the place. One day, by total fluke, I just decided I wanted to paint my animals. I have 2 dogs and a cat. I'm sure you've seen the little rascals around here somewhere. And I decided I was going to paint pet portraits. Once I was done, I posted them just like I do everything else. And next thing you know, one of my really good friends actually called me up and she said, my stepdad's dog is not doing very well and we don't know how much time we have with him, and I would love for you to do a pet portrait of his dog as his Christmas present. So I was like, oh, heck yeah, that sounds great. Well, I didn't have any prices. Like, I didn't know how to price my artwork. By the way, I do end up figuring that out. So if you guys want me to do a video on how to price your artwork, let me know, drop a comment. But I didn't have set pricing yet. And so she wanted a 5x7. I said, okay, $45 sounds good, which is way undercutting because these things are not quick. They take quite a bit of time. But she's my friend. I'd never sold the commission work, and that's honestly also my fault because I should have had pricing and all of that figured out before I even was trying to sell my artwork at all. The price is a very important part. I quickly got to work and painted it up, put it in frame. Originally, I was selling my pet portraits and my artwork in frames. And so it was $45 for the painting plus frame plus shipping. She ended up paying me way more than what I asked for. Oh, you always know you've got a good friend when they want to pay you for your artwork anyways. But she's a rock star because I think she just knew $45 is really, really cheap. And so once he had gotten it, I posted an image of it on all of my social media. At the same time I was doing that, he was so excited about it. He was taking pictures of it and posting it all over social media and tagging me in it. And so literally within a matter of like a week, I was getting all kinds of interests for these pet portraits. I think it helps that pet portraits are a trending market. And I do think that that helped a lot with just getting my name out there. But I think the fact that it was a trending market, along with the fact that I was able to say, hey, look, somebody actually paid me for one of these. I'm legitimately taking commissions. Come to me for pet portraits. So next thing you know, I'm getting all these. It's like the fact that I had actually sold something gave me a reputation, gave me slight credentials. So all of a sudden, everybody felt like, oh no, this is like a legitimate business. She's like an actual artist. It's funny the way that works because I was always a legitimate business and I was always an artist. But I had no rep. I had no credentials. So the moment I got that first painting sold, it all of a sudden it was like a snowball effect. Right after I sold, I want to say 3 pet portraits, I realized that my pricing was too low. I mean, I had already known my pricing was probably too low at $45 for a 5x7. I think it was $65 for an 8x10 and $85 for an 11x14, I think. Super cheap. Super, super cheap. So I upped my prices. And I was quoting these new prices to my new clients and customers, and they were fine with it. So then I went through, I want to say, another 5 to 7 pet portraits, and I upped my prices again. I didn't just up my prices because I was getting more commissions. It was that paired with the fact that I was getting to the point where I was scheduling out. I was booking out so far in advance. And sometimes it was like a month and a half, 2 months out. So my time was becoming more valuable. In the beginning, I paid so much attention to how long each one took me because I wasn't spending full days on it. It wasn't like, oh, it takes me like 3 days or whatever. That's not even how long it took. That once I got so many orders in that I was having to schedule them, I was able to schedule accordingly because I knew how long it should take me. And I always overestimated how long it would take me. I would tell them it'll take 3 weeks to a month for like one of the larger ones, but really it would probably only take me like 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. But I'm always guesstimating for that extra week of just being able to work, just in case something happens. And I'd rather be early than late. And so I did start to get to the point where I didn't want to be known as the pet portrait girl. There's nothing wrong with just doing pet portraits. Some people do it and they love it, but it's not my cup of tea, my cup of joe. I don't know. I'm a landscape painter. I enjoy painting wildlife, but I enjoy scenery and environmental pieces. So, but I was afraid that I would get shoved into this niche that I did not want to be in for my whole art career. I mean, doing them is still fun, and I don't want to stop painting them, but at some point I wanted to start getting commissions of other work, you know, like my oil paintings. And at one point I got a commission for a pet portrait, but they had seen an ocean painting of mine and they wanted to know if I could add an ocean scene to the pet portrait. So I started being able to add like landscape elements to the pet portraits, and people were taking interest in them. And slowly but surely I started noticing, as I started posting saying, this is another commission of mine and it has like an ocean painting in the background, and yes, it's a pet portrait, but it's got landscape elements to it and other elements that reflect my other work in them. So then I started selling more of those oil paintings, and now I'm getting commissions for oil paintings. It's just a building process, and you just have to continuously promote commissions and never think that it's going to take overnight. It took some time. It took a lot of work. It still takes a lot of work, but you just have to mention it. Otherwise, people don't realize that you do it. And it's long and frustrating, and it takes a while. But if you work hard and continue to just hustle, push it, and hustle, then eventually you will get customers, you will get clients, you will get recognition, and that's what you want, you know? You want to be paid to paint for a living. And it is possible, it's not overnight. So Thanks everyone for watching. I really hope this video helped, and I hope you get out there and start selling commissions and start selling pieces in general. You know, having the problem of not enough time for how many paintings you have, because that's a great problem to have. It really builds up your artistic self-esteem. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, yada yada yada, something to say, drop a comment down below. If you did enjoy this video, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And check out my Instagram and Facebook accounts. All of my social media is at Artwork by Payton. And go over to my website, which is www.artworkbypayton.com, where you can find all of my pieces for sale. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you next week. I just remembered this. I do want to say on the topic of commissions, I am so busy, I may not post a video for a week or two. I'm hoping not, but I wanted to give you a heads up so you weren't like, dude, like, where's your video? So, have a great week. I will see you on Tuesday, most likely, hopefully, and again next Friday. Bye, guys.